Hi, welcome to Beauty Over 50, and to all of my subscribers, thanks again for joining me. Today I want to talk about an eyeshadow palette that I know has been around a while, but I recently discovered it. It's completely new to me, and that would be this ElfBiteSize palette from e.l.f. Cosmetics. It is in the color Cream and Sugar, which I thought were perfect neutral shades. What intrigued me about this little palette is that the colors are very neutral, easy daytime colors that I reach for on a daily basis. What also intrigued me about it was the fact that it was only $3. What's not to love about that? Another thing that drew me to this palette was the idea of travel. Not only is it compact, but what I like about it is often when I travel, I'm reluctant to bring some of my favorite high-end palettes, but because of its price tag, I'm more likely to want to bring it on my carry-on bag. I find when I travel, I often lose things, misplace things, sometimes they miraculously go missing. I'm often reluctant to bring along something that I really treasure, like for example, my MAC Pro palette, where I've collected all of these colors over the years. You know, I'd be a bit heartbroken if that went missing. So what I love about this palette, $3, you know, I'm not going to be that worried about something going wrong with it. On their website, they define this as a mini eyeshadow palette with rich blendable colors. It's a pigmented palette that delivers 4 creamy blendable colors in a mini compact. I'm sold on the price and I'm sold on the description. I've been using the palette for a few days now, and today I wanted to show you how I've been applying it, and I would love to hear your comments on what you think. Taking a closer look, it's a terrific little palette. It has 2 matte colors, which are perfect for me. I always use matte on my upper lid area here to camouflage my hooded eyes. I only use matte on my under eye. I love to use shimmers on my mobile lid in the center and on the very inner portion of my eye, as well as my tear duct area. I like to do just a little pop there. So I'm ready to go. I currently have my eyeshadow primer and concealer on, but other than that, I don't have any of my eye makeup on yet. Let's get started with the shadow. I'm going to start with my fluffy blender brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dip it into this lightest color here, which I'm going to put all over my lid. I've used this a couple of times since I bought it, just so that I could play around with the different colors, and one of the things I'm impressed with is it doesn't have a lot of fallout, considering, you know, it's not necessarily a high-end eyeshadow. Applying the lighter color all over my lid just gives it a great base color in which to play around with the darker shades. I'll go ahead and wipe off my blending brush onto my magic eraser. This is what I really like to do in between shadows if I'm going to use the same brush. Looking at this palette, if I really had to choose, I would have an additional matte color, something between this shade and this shade. But because that doesn't exist, for my transition shade, I'm going to start with a very light application using this darkest shade. And if it's still too dark for me, I'll go ahead and lighten it up by blending it with this lighter shade. Dipping it into the darker shade and tapping it off on my magic eraser, I'm going to go in and start light, build it if I need to. That has come on a little darker than I like, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I'm going to blend it with the lighter color. Windshield wiper motions, just try to get it blended. Again, I feel it's too dark, so I am going to lighten that up. I'm going to go back in with the lighter shade just to lighten it up and blend the edges. I should note here that when I add this lighter shade, it almost gives it a little bit of a bluish purple tone to it. Next, I'm going to go in with a smaller blending brush. This is a MAC 221. I'm gonna go in and start putting my darker shade here in order to camouflage the hooded eye. I start by tapping the shadow in the outer corner and then lifting it upward and blending it in.
All that's left is you and me. I can promise you're the only thing I see. Hold my hand and hear the words I say. Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me. And let our minds be caught up in a dream.
The first two colors that I used were both matte creamy formulas. Now I'm going to add some shimmer to my mobile lid here. I try not to get any shimmer on the upper area here where I'm trying to camouflage my hooded eyes, because that's just going to draw light to it and it's not going to give the effect of my hooded eye being recessed. Taking a smaller shadow brush, I'm going to go ahead and take the darkest shimmer shade here and apply it to the center of my mobile lid.
Quiet voices in the night. Time is running out of sight.
If you're looking for your shimmer to be a little bit more intense, I'd go ahead and use my finger just to get a thicker application. So going in with my finger, I'm going to dab it.
Making echoes as we walk. There's no one left but you and me. It's like a made-up place that only we can see. Hold my hand and hear the words.
It's doing a pretty good job. I mean, it's clearly not as intense as some of my other eyeshadow palettes, but for $3, it's doing a pretty good job. Next up, I'm going to go back in with this more precision eyeshadow brush and my darkest shade, and I'm just going to apply a little bit more on the outer edges to add some dimension and also repair where my shimmer might have come out a little too far.
Close your eyes and let us fade away. Build a secret place for you and me.
I'm going to use the same brush and also using the darker shadow, I'm going to apply some to the bottom of my eye. I do like to take my brush and just curve it around if I notice that there's a space between my bottom shadow and my top. Next up, I'm going to go in with the same small precision eyeshadow brush. Definitely have that nicely wiped off on your magic eraser. And I'm going to go in with the lighter shimmer shade here for the inner corner of my eye.
Standing underneath the lights.
Next up, I'm going to dab a little bit at the very inner corner of my eye. I like to do that. I think it adds a nice little pop. If you would rather have it be more intense here with the lightest shade of shimmer, you could again use your finger. For me, it's intense enough right now. Next, I'm going to go back in with my blending brush and I'm just going to blend my shimmers a little bit. When I do blend them, I'm going to be very careful not to get my blending brush up here because I don't want to transfer the glitter to this area where I like to only primarily have a matte eyeshadow. At this point, if you would like, you can go back in with a very thin eyeliner brush and use this darker color as an eyeliner for your top lid. Okay, that's it for me. I'm quite pleased with the look. I'm gonna go ahead and put on some eyeliner on my upper waterline, a little bit of brown eyeliner just in the outer corners of my eye. I like to do that because I don't have any eyelashes there. And I'll finally finish up with some mascara and come back to you. I'm back and here's the final look. I'm really happy with it. One thing I'd like to note is that when you start blending the lighter matte shade and the darker one, it does create a sort of purple hue to it, as opposed to being, you know, a very warm brown color. I'm happy with that because I am drawn to eyeshadows with any kind of purple tone to it, but that's something just to note. I hope you like the look. I'd love to hear your comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and until next time, take care. Bye.